So, welcome everybody to another episode of Rambling with Seven. I'm your host, Seven. Duh. Today's topic. So, I'm going to do something a little different this go round. I am going to. I was on Reddit, minding my own business, okay? Minding my own business. And then I happened to come across. I was on TikTok and then I went and found the Reddit. I was on TikTok, then I went and found the Reddit post. But I didn't realize it was going to get as juicy as it did. So I decided that I wanted to share it with y'all. Now, do not talk about how I read out loud. It is not my strong suit. I can read. I can. And I read fast. Silently. Out loud is something different. Okay? Okay. But today's drink of the day, before we get into that, is going to be Love Y'all Moscato Wine by Tabitha Brown. It is vegan. A vegan wine. Also, I would be remiss if I did not plug my wife. You see my shirt? The last two shirts that I had on, the orange one and the green one. Well, obviously, because not the robe, right? But my wife makes shirts. She is very talented. She is at Blank Canvas Designs on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Don't worry. I'll leave the links. What else? Oh! I almost missed what gets my knickers in a knot. So, what gets my knickers in a knot? People that will constantly push that one button. And then when you finally crash out, they want to act like you the problem. They don't know what is going on. What's wrong with you? You are what's wrong with me. Okay? Treat everybody the way that you want to be treated. Alright? And if you don't act like you don't know why I'm crashing out. Anyway. So today, man, this was a shocker. Because, of course, on TikTok, I found it on one of those pages that like posts like 4 or 5 different segments and then still don't tell you the whole story. So I have read some of this. I have not read all of it, but I have seen that dude. I went to the original poster and dude, y'all will see. It is absolutely bonkers, okay? All right. Let's get it. So he is a 30-year-old male. His wife is 27 female. So it says, I called my wife manipulative and now she's emotionally distant. I, male 30, got into an argument with my wife a couple of months ago and ended up saying some really hurtful things that she can't forgive me for. Essentially, we never fight. We have disagreements that are quickly resolved, but have only had one real fight in the decade that we've been together. My wife is incredibly emotional. Sad. Tears. Reading a book. Tears. Oh, sad ad. Tears. Reading a book. Tears. Telling even a remotely sad story. Tears. She feels things very deeply and responds sometimes inappropriately with the amount of emotion she reacts with. I've tried to not have a problem with this, as I know that is just her nature. But it can be overwhelming sometimes and embarrassing at others. About 3 months ago, we happened to get into a huge fight. I guess y'all do fight, huh? She was telling a story to some friends and embellishing quite a bit. So I just said, hey, I think you're lying a bit there. Why? That didn't really happen like that. I wasn't trying to take away from the story. Yeah, you were. But I hate liars. And she does it a fair bit when storytelling. She told me that she does it for comedic effect. And that everyone knows she doesn't tell stories 100% accurately. It was still bothering me, however, after everyone went home and I brought it up again, to which she told me that we'd already talked about it, and she didn't need me to correct her in front of her friends. I'll spare the rest, but we essentially got into a fight, and I raised my voice. What? Why? She immediately started crying, more like sobbing, and I told her that she was being manipulative doing that. Every time I bring up something she takes as a critique, she begins crying, and it's a manipulative way to get me to stop talking about whatever is bothering me. My mom did the same thing to my dad, and I hate when women do that. Sound like you harboring some things there, buddy. Therapy might be a good bet. And also, if you are yelling at her, then yeah, she probably got emotional, bruh. She asked me through shuttered breathing if I really thought that, and I said yes. I told her that she manipulates the argument into going her way by crying and being the victim. She told me she couldn't even look at me and locked herself into our room to calm down. She came out a few hours later and told me that she was sorry if I thought that she was being manipulative and that it wouldn't happen again. Problem solved, right? Except not at all, because why would you think it would be? Why did you think that was going to be the end of that? I didn't notice immediately, but she's started pulling away from me. She won't watch movies with me if there's any sad parts. She doesn't tell me the stories she used to. She won't tell stories to friends when I'm around, and now our friends don't want me to go out with them Now my friends don't want me to go out when they do because they say she's not as fun when I'm there. She stopped reading books in the living room, stopped watching unpredictable TV shows. She won't even talk to her mom on the phone when I'm in the room. I feel like I'm living with a ghost now. It wasn't until yesterday that I even realized I haven't seen her cry since our fight. I wonder how long it took him to realize it, though. Like, how long did it take you to realize that something wasn't right? For it to click in your mind, hey, she not doing none of the stuff that she used to. Like how much were you paying attention, though? Anyway, I brought it up last night, and she told me that she didn't want to manipulate me anymore. Go ahead, sis. I told her that her everyday crying wasn't manipulative, and she said, so it's only manipulative when you're mad at me. Exactly. Only when you're having a reaction while y'all are arguing. And now I don't know what to do. I apologized, said I was wrong for saying that to begin with, and that I shouldn't have, but it didn't help. Of course it didn't. I asked if she wanted to watch The Notebook with me, since it's her favorite movie, and she told me she doesn't like it anymore. What should I do? Can I do anything? Advice from a married man/woman, please. Update the same day. So there is an update. So there's actually a couple of updates. This is before I even get to the good stuff, because when I tell you that he is playing checkers while she is playing chess, y'all gonna see here in a minute. But I don't know why he thought that would just be okay to say. And then, no, now she doesn't feel comfortable around you. No, she's not gonna cry. No, she's not gonna be herself. Alright, so something to add to my relationship post. I doubt many people will read this, as it's a part of my personal profile. I've read and considered the comments under my thread and appreciate them. I've scheduled with an online therapist for tomorrow, and I'm currently waiting for my wife to come home. I'm not sure how she's going to react to what I have to say, but I'm hoping she will give me a chance to make it right. I know it isn't something that can be fixed in a day or with a simple apology, but I'm willing to try anything at this point. I've researched marriage counselors in our area, but want to see how she feels about it going forward. I also called my parents and let them know we would be going no contact. Where did the parents come from? I didn't actually read the updates, obviously. Going no contact with them for a while I try to fix my mistakes at home. I'm not sure they will want to talk with me even if I fix it. They were furious that I was excluding them from this part of my life. But going off of the thread, I know that that's a boundary I need to make to be able to focus my energy where it's needed and disregard opinions that could only prove to further divide us. I am so confused. I know many people have hoped she will leave me, and if that's the avenue she wants to proceed with, I won't hold her back from a happy future with someone who doesn't diminish her feelings and make her feel less than she is. So I did see a comment that said, So there is a comment that briefly, because I guess he was having conversations in the comments with people on why he blames his parents. He said, they didn't want me to marry her to begin with. I find myself worried if she or I were in any type of therapy, they would associate that as a result of her being who she is. Part of our culture is to respect our elders and family. I know that's not how everyone does it, and I've always kept them at bay from making comments about her. Another comment is, I see now that I've brought in issues that I had from my family. I've never even seen my mom cry. This is all information I got from my father growing up. I don't know why I equated the two. It just seemed to match situations at the time, but I see now that they're completely different. You never even seen your mama cry? Bruh. And then another one says, my family definitely has a lot of problems, but my mom is one of them. It sounds like your dad is one of them. I don't want to get into detail about her because I don't know her very well. And she very well could have been abused by my father. However, when I was in elementary, she drowned my dog as a punishment for something remedial. I'm sorry, what? She drowned your dog? As a punishment? She unalived a living thing as a punishment. And you didn't think you needed therapy before this? Before this little incident? All right. So he says he talked to his wife. I talked to my wife last night. There was so much to say, and I've never been good about sharing my feelings. So it started off painfully awkward. I started with apologizing, not what I did before by just saying sorry, but I attacked your character and assumed the worst of you when given no prior reasoning to do so. I've damaged and hurt you in a way that I will never forgive myself for, and I would understand if you couldn't either. There was more, but I'll save you guys from every detail. She was mostly shocked when I started and didn't say anything, but she did reach out for me in the first time since I messed up. But she did reach out for me in the first time. I'm going to assume that's it, because I did read it right. I thought, when it went from my eyeballs to my brain to my mouth, that I was like, no. That's what he said. I read it. What he said. But I guess that's supposed to be, she did reach out for me for the first time since I messed up. She looked like she was trying so hard not to cry, and I let her know that her crying has never been a problem in our relationship, that my unwillingness to accept people and see the worst was. It resulted in, I just really wish there were more commas and things here, but whatever. It resulted in tears, and in that moment, I realized how much I missed her being her. I told her about how I was starting therapy and that I would like to do marriage counseling someday, to do what I can to mend the damage I've caused between us, but that I would need to go by myself for a while to get to the base reasons of why I react so harshly to things. Some of the comments suggest I write a letter to her. And so while I waited for her to get home, I did that. I wrote about how much I loved her, all of the things about her that made me happy, all the quirks and mannerisms that were undoubtedly her. And then I told her I went no contact with my parents. I've never seen her light up so fast. She asked me if I was being serious, and I told her that to be able to focus on her, I couldn't have them whispering in my ear anymore. She hugged me and cried for the better part of an hour, saying that they're one of the worst parts of being married to me. She says she can't forgive easily, but that she wants to work on us together. She wants us to move away from my family, and we're discussing options that could make that possible. I am not a... I read that right. Okay. I am not a good person in general. No one has ever described me as warm or caring except my wife, and I almost lost her being manipulative myself and selfish. I can't put into words how much I appreciate every comment, no matter the content. It made me realize just how fucked up I was. I don't deserve her, but she's willing to give me a second chance at this, and I'm going to be different. I don't think it'll be quick or easy, but I would do anything for her. I don't know if I'll ever update after this. I have a lot of growing up and groveling ahead of me. It's not the update a lot of you wanted, but thank you for your help. Comment from the OP explaining why he went no contact from his parents. I appreciate your comment. My family definitely has a lot of problems, but my mom is... I read that part. Over something... Okay, it went further. Okay, so I appreciate your comment. My family definitely has a lot of problems, but my mom is one of them. I don't want to get into detail about her because I don't know her very well, and she very well could have been abused by my father. However, when I was in elementary, she drowned my dog as a punishment for something remedial. I'm going to focus on my primary relationship with my wife and consider during that time how much time I want to continue devoting to my family after that. OP has very repetitive comments to the post. The gist of it is his wife embellishes stories like stand-up comedians and exaggerates a bit. She doesn't lie about him. Then what is the problem? His father told him that his mother manipulates by crying all the time. OP has never seen his mom cry. His wife sobs no matter the mode of communication, which is making it difficult for them to communicate on topics which make her sad. And he thought it was manipulative, hence the post. But now they are working and he's going to therapy. So that was on a different post. I did go to the original OP. I think he might have took the original post down. Yeah, I think something happened with the post. They got like too many comments or something. I don't know. But there was another update after he said something about him not being a good person. He said he realized it would be easier to make a new post, so he made a new post. Okay, so update number 2. I wasn't sure I'd be back on to update, but I've been receiving a lot of messages asking me how everything was going, and I figured I'd let everyone know who still wants to know. My wife's pregnant. The plot thickens, right? About 3 months along, maybe more. I saw a pregnancy test in the bathroom trash a few weeks ago. I waited for her to bring it up to me, but she never did. I asked her about it last week and she started crying, telling me that she loved me so much and that this didn't mean anything. What? We're both asexual. She used to be anyway. Oh. She said when we were fighting, she caught up with someone who doesn't mean anything to her, and things progressed past where she thought they would. She told me that she's always been asexual, so she just wanted to verify. What? She just wanted to verify with somebody else that she's asexual? There's not much I could say in the moment and needed time to process the information. She told me I'd betrayed her when we'd fought, and I'd called her manipulative, so now we're on even ground and have a chance to start new. No, that is not how that works. That's not how that works. So she is manipulative. Okay, because that is manipulation at its finest. But I told y'all that while he was playing checkers, she was playing chess. And checkmate, boo. But just wait, there's more. I see the logic in that, but it doesn't feel right. How do you see the logic in it? That is illogical. There's no logic to that. I feel an ache in my chest that won't go away no matter what I do. I never wanted kids. I've seen what growing up can look like, and I wouldn't put someone else through it. No matter how hard I work, would I ever really be different from those that raised me? No, that's just normal jitters. Well, with somebody that was abused or whatever. It wasn't worth the risk of, and physical touch makes my skin crawl. Aw. But here's my wife telling me she's pregnant, has no intention to tell the other man, and waiting for me to say something. That's really fucked up. There's no other way that I can say that. That's really fucked up. I really despise, and I see that a lot in books, like the woman will be like, oh, I'm pregnant. Oh, I'm not going to tell the dad. Oh, and just scurry on along and then be like, oh my God, I'm like struggling to raise this kid. Maybe if you got child support from that billionaire dude that you was hunching on, but you know, whatever, because it's always a billionaire, like in the books. It's always a poor girl, the little Cinderella story. The poor girl meets the billionaire gets her knocked up, then she runs off saying that he's gonna steal her baby. I don't know where the logic is, but whatever. I told her that pregnancy was going to be difficult and that I'd buy some books on it. She was so happy. She went to look at baby registries And I've been in a weird state since, I bet. I have put in a lot of work to ensure that our relationship could grow from what it was. I have therapy multiple times a week, and it's proved to be one of the most difficult things I've experienced. I wanted nothing more than for us to be able to work it out, and be what we used to be. And I still want that, but I feel betrayed. Because you were betrayed. What do you mean? You feel betrayed because you were betrayed. There's gaslighting. Like, oh man. Maybe even more so since she didn't apologize for sleeping with someone else. She's happy that we can be a family of three, ecstatic even, and she wants me to be as well. My mind's divided between what's logical and how it makes me feel. Her family will help and her family will help on advising on children, and the kid will have one set of grandparents. My parents are still no contact, but now the rest of my family is as well. I can't even get into contact with grands across the sea. I've been cut off from everyone on my side. But I knew this could be a possible outcome. That leaves my therapist and Reddit to talk to. That's who I am now, I suppose. My wife doesn't work. This gets betterer and betterer and betterer. Okay? My wife doesn't work. And I promised her until death. She's skipping around the house talking about child safety, where the nursery will be, the best schools, names, and I've been in the office reading books that prepare you for parenthood. So she's like not even a little remorseful. And she's just like, the baby is coming, get over it. You should probably take some time to process. You've alienated yourself at this point. I don't know what happened with you and your family. I know that your mom sounds like she got some problems. Your dad sounds like he may be a liar. I don't know. But she's worried about people asking her about the baby when it won't look like me. You think? I'm worried I'll turn into my dad and ruin the child's life before they even have one. So cheers, everyone. He has like 4 other posts. My wife's having a baby within the next 6 months, and I've never had any experience around children, nor did I expect to have any. My wife grew up around dozens of children, and she's not anxious about this at all. The last time I interacted with a child was over a year ago. What's some of the best advice you have? Let's see. Parents attempting contact. I've been no contact with my parents for the last 5 months. The decision wasn't easy because of cultural expectations, especially regarding oldest children, but was necessary for my marriage and current counseling goals that I'm holding myself to. Their reaction to me going no contact was screaming and blaming my wife for the decision. I told them I was firm on my course of action and blocked them from contacting me and my wife through our phones and social media. About 2 months ago, my wife started receiving emails that were mostly inane comments about her weight and looks. She's currently pregnant. I blocked the senders, but she'd continue getting them from various short-life email accounts until she decided to create a new email. After that came the packages. No return address, and all that was inside were letters detailing how our relationship had ruined and stained my family. What an embarrassment I was for being in therapy etc. Wow. What did you do in a past life? I'm starting to wonder, is this karma? What happened? I go through all the mail before giving my wife hers now, opening anything that looks even remotely suspicious. Last week we received an edible arrangement with some fruit for my wife and an intolerance with some fruit my wife had an intolerance for, with a note giving their distinct blessing for a divorce. I apologize for the long post. This wasn't a long post. You have longer. I feel the need to vent without overly worrying my wife with the issue. However, I'm worried they'll show up at my place when I'm not home and harass my wife. Has anyone had success mitigating aggressive contact? And then he has another one about harassing mail from his parents. Looks like it's more the same, just probably on a different thread. But here we go with more baby stuff. All right, first time dad here, finding myself in a difficult situation. I admittedly have very little experience being around children in general. I didn't intend to have any children, but here we are. My daughter is almost a month old, and I have now fully taken over childcare in our home. Why? My wife was ecstatic the first 2 weeks and then decided that it was too much work, and her interest has swayed other directions, leaving me to shoulder the rest of myself. She's just like, oh, well, that was a fun 2 weeks. The novelty's wearing out. Is she crying again? Oh my God. I've tried several different formulas that don't seem to be working well and would like any information available on best route to go. Probably ask a doctor. I've looked into goat's milk and was curious if anyone had any experience with that. I'm currently the only working member of the family. It's only been a month though. The only working member of the family, and my work has allowed me a month to work from home until I can find childcare. If that woman is not working, she can childcare. What are we talking about? Would a full-time nanny give her the best experience, or a fully staffed daycare? A nanny, if they could be trusted, but her mom is an option. Money isn't an issue as far as any of these options go. Oh, big baller shot caller, then get her nanny. I just want her to have a decent life. I've been trying to hold her as much as possible in hopes to create a nurturing bond between us. As I've read, it's important for social development, but I worry I'm not doing well enough filling the gap. First-time parent jitters is normal. I mean, I don't feel the books prepared me for how harsh the newborn schedule is, and I have no family I'm in contact with to ask questions to. Any advice would be appreciated. Now, there is one more, and I think that this is where it gets good. Yep. I'm updating here as a means to quell questions that I've been receiving over the past weeks. I do understand that this isn't my child by blood. That seems to be weighing heavily on others' minds, and I am aware of that. I am also aware that children abandoned by their parents are viewed negatively. I'm also aware that children abandoned by their parents are viewed negatively for the simple fact of existing, grow up poorly with low self-worth and no chance to thrive. While I never wanted children, I wouldn't leave one to suffer because of others' poor choices. I've been in contact with the father, and his responses toward her were pejorative? pejorative. I don't know that word overall. My wife has also decided that parenting isn't what she thought it would be. She offered me full custody in return for spousal support. What? So you basically gonna pay her to keep this baby, to keep her kid? Am I reading that right? She offered me full custody in return for spousal support, and I've decided to take that option with her. I have filed for divorce. She wants freedom, and I want this to be behind me. I'll always love her, but this is the right move for both of us. To whoever knows me from my post and has decided to share everything with my family, I hope you received whatever it is you were looking for by doing that. If they were impertinent before, they're a nightmare now. Congratulations on that, and for your health, may we never meet. My daughter is thriving now. The pediatrician suggested donor milk, and she's doing better than ever. She's happy, healthy, and cared for. While she only has me as a parent, which is a disconcerting thought, I believe we're making the best of the situation. I don't see myself updating anymore. My life has found a rhythm that is suitable for both of us, despite being a far shot from what I saw my life being only a year ago. Cheers to an unexpected and bright future. So you told this woman that she was manipulative for crying, which you were the a-hole for. But then she was like, I'm going to go get pregnant. I'm going to go cheat on you, get pregnant, and then leave you with my affair child. I mean, before I read all of it, I was just like, oh, you got what you deserve. But then I read all of it with you guys, and I'm like, oh, kind of a bitch. But, you know, hey, the only person that I feel really bad for in this situation, to be honest, is the baby. Because the baby, regardless of how good of a father this guy turns out to be, and it sounds like he has a lot going on, like the asexuality. My wife is asexual, but then she went hutching on other people. Like, it sounds like you still need the therapy. But I digress. No matter how good of a dad you're going to be in this situation, that baby is going to have so many identity problems. Because, one, they're going to see their friends with moms, and it's going to be a problem. As a person that only had one parent growing up, it's going to be a source. It's going to be a spot of, it's going to be a wound, okay? And there's not much that's going to be able to cover that. Like, yeah, you can end up with somebody else that could possibly fill the void, but like, it's still going to be a void because they're going to know that, like, that's not my mom. And then when you eventually, because hopefully you don't just start off right off the bat with, I'm not your real dad. Like, once you tell the kid, you know, I'm not your bio dad, then they're gonna spiral. And hopefully you have a therapist on speed dial. It sounds like you will, because you still need the therapy. All of the therapy. Maybe set up a therapy session where you could tell her then, with a therapist that specializes in that. I wish the kid all the best. I don't know what that culture is, or whatever, but the family sounds wild. That family sounds wild. And I wish that baby all the best. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you ever need to reach me, my info is down below. Smooches.